All right, Monday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. What a weekend we had with a big time wind event across the region on Sunday. Even into last night, the wind was still very gusty. And also, colder air has moved in and it's going to stick around for a couple of days. Let's start this evening with a quick review of where we've been so far in November now that we're past the halfway point of the month. We had a rare cooler than average day today, 46 the high this afternoon. Our average high is about 49. But for the month, of course, the warm days have outnumbered the cool days. It's kind of a 12-4 split right now. 6.4 degrees warmer than the average so far this month, putting it in 7th place. When you look at the first 16 days of November, this is the 7th warmest such period in our record books here locally. Quick review of the wind yesterday. Peak wind gust at the Youngstown Ward Airport, 65 miles per hour in the middle of the afternoon. Of course, we had a gusty line of showers that came through with severe thunderstorm warnings along it. Actually, the worst of the wind was then reserved for the period just after that line of showers moved through and the sun came out. The atmosphere got a little mixed up with some of that wind energy being able to be drawn down from above our heads somewhat. And that led to a wind gust at the airport of 65. And this is a classic example. You'll hear me say a lot, especially in severe weather coverage. Wind is wind. Every time we have a lot of wind damage, a lot of people just automatically assume it was a tornado. Most of the time around here, it's not a tornado. We don't live in a particularly tornado-prone area. We do, of course, see them, but not that often. But 65 miles per hour is the equivalent of a low-end EF0 tornado. The enhanced Fujita scale starts at 65 miles per hour for an EF0. It goes up to 85. So you can see very similar damage and power outages and problems to just a normal 65 mile per hour wind gust compared to technically a tornado. You can see the same kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be a tornado. The wind was still gusting to 40 as late as 1 a.m. Today's wind was frisky but not as impactful. Kind of annoying today, I would say, gusting to 20 or 30 or so. Actually, we haven't reported a wind gust at the airport over the last couple of hours, so the wind is continuing to be a little less of a story. But look how extensive the wind damage reports are going back 36 hours across the region. Ohio really bared the brunt of this with huge amounts of power problems, lots of trees down, lots of problems, and it continued into New York, Pennsylvania, and up into parts of New England as well. If you watched last night's Patriots, who did they play last night? Patriots played a home game last night, and I'm drawing a blank on. Oh, they played the Ravens, of course. That was the same line that went through here mid-afternoon, went through late in the fourth quarter of that game on Sunday Night Football last night. All right, our next weather maker is out across the lower Great Lakes. It's going to push through tonight with a rain and even a snow shower here and there. This is all non-impactful stuff. Everything will just be damp as you get up tomorrow morning. A couple of flakes, a couple of raindrops, kind of a gloomy and cold and blustery start to the day. I think there'll be some sunny intervals tomorrow, but this will become a little more of a lake effect deal tomorrow afternoon into parts of tomorrow night. There probably will be some pretty good bandage coming off of Lake Huron, picking up some moisture eastern end of Lake Erie and depositing it in southwestern New York, northwestern PA. Around here, not expecting this to be too impactful. And then clouds will break for some sunshine on Wednesday. So enough to measure, certainly a possibility. Erie, Crawford counties in PA, up into southwest New York, and then across our area, pretty much not expecting much more than a coating. Maybe eastern Mercer County, east of I-79, tries to get a half an inch to an inch or so. But a couple of inches, a few inches, definitely a little more likely once you're up towards Meadville, Erie, Jamestown, New York, places like that. Kind of the usual suspects in a lot of lake effect events. And then the big story for the rest of the week, Wednesday's a transitional day. Wednesday night, especially a transitional period as temperatures will rise overnight. And then in a strong southerly flow by the end of the week, and temperatures will bounce right back up way above average at the end of the week. So after high in the 30s for the next couple of days, 57 on Thursday with a gusty breeze, 59 on Friday. Looks like a largely dry weekend. It probably won't be bright and sunny all weekend, but there'll be some sun here and there. Temperatures about a dozen degrees above average by the upcoming weekend. Here's a look at the jet stream as we go through the next week and a half. Kind of a zonal flow for now, becoming a little ridgy over the southeast, and we're close enough to that ridge that it'll pay us benefits, certainly by the end of the week. Now, a little disturbance will come through early next week, giving us a cool down early next week for a couple of days. But then the pattern as we go towards Thanksgiving featuring a pretty deep trough digging in to the western U.S. That will allow a ridge to poke in the east, and that means it doesn't look all that cold at all right around Thanksgiving. Now, we're not going to see the 70s like we had a week ago, but the 8 to 14 day outlook shows a distinct lack of any sort of abnormal cold across the eastern two-thirds of the country by next week and into the following weekend. So, it's going to be a good year if you can have a little bit of your Thanksgiving crowd be outdoors. That's certainly going to be something that is encouraged. We're not going to be wearing shorts. But if we're dry and the sun is out, especially if it's 53, 54 degrees, for a lot of people that'll be tolerable to have at least a little bit of your Thanksgiving festivities, maybe outside on a patio or a deck, if you can do it this year. So longer range is looking mild, and when we look ahead to the longer range, not seeing a whole lot at the end of November and the first week or so of December to suggest that winter is going to roar in anytime over the next few weeks. Kind of jives with our overall winter forecast. All right, that'll do it for me tonight. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you back here on Tuesday.